Do you have a broken shoe and you're just too frugal to throw it away? Well, if yours is similar to mine, I'm going to show you how to repair it right now. First, I'm going to take some thread, but I'm not going to use the cotton thread because that'll be really thin and weak. What I'm going to use is this polyester thread that is much thicker. It's used for sewing on buttons. Now I'm going to take out about 2 feet of the thread because I'm going to double it. Once I thread my needle, I'm going to pull the thread until it meets and it's halfway through the needle. Now I have both ends like this and I'm going to lick this finger. Now it's a little bit damp. I'm going to squeeze the 2 threads between my fingers and wrap it around my index finger and then twist it off of my finger. That way it makes several knots and then I pull it back with this fingernail. Now I have a very big knot on here and it'll be nice and secure. And I'll trim off the extra. Now this is what the shoe looks like that is undamaged. So I'm going to replicate that as best as I can. The damaged shoe is the right one. So this piece of leather is supposed to go right underneath this one. And I'm going to stitch this down by hand. Now because this knot is kind of bulky, I'm not going to want it right against my foot inside of the shoe. I'm going to start with the needle going up in this direction so that the knot will be hidden underneath this little piece of leather. So here's the knot. It's going to be pulled right up in here, and then this piece will be on the other side of the knot. So the knot will be tucked in between these 2 pieces of leather and it won't be seen on the other side, nor will it be rubbing up against my foot. Now to do the stitching. It's a little difficult to push the needle through the leather, so I'm going to use a thimble to help me push the needle through. Now the back of my stitching doesn't necessarily look very pretty, but who's going to look inside my shoe and see that? The top of the stitching looks just fine, and plus it's black on black, so it's not even visible. Now I'm going to wrap the thread from the back around the side to the front and push it down through. Meanwhile, tie it in a knot. So as I push the needle through and pull it, it's going to make this small little loop, which I'm going to put the needle back through there, which ties a knot, and pull it tight. And when tying a knot in hand sewing, you need to do that loop method that I just showed you 2 or 3 times. Now I've already tied this in a knot, but I don't want to cut this off right here because these threads may stick out on this top edge and I don't want to see those on my shoe. So now I'm going to bring the thread back around to the bottom and do one more little stitch just to hide the thread on the bottom. And then snip off the thread. Now I have this sewn on here nice and strong, but I have this little flap still hanging out here in the back. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and glue it down to give it added strength. I'm going to be using this type of glue to glue this little flap down. And interestingly, I did another video repairing another pair of shoes. It was resoling a pair of boots. And this glue did a great job even though it's not meant for shoes. So now I'm gluing the flap down and I'm going to cover the front and the back with this parchment paper. And then I'm going to put a clothespin on it while it dries. So I'll report back to you in a day or 2 to let you know how it did. Okay, here we are a few days later, and now is the moment of truth. We're going to see how well everything is holding together. So first I'm going to take off the parchment, and then I'm going to do a walking test. So let's see how it goes. So the clip held it in place really well, and the parchment kept the clip from sticking to the shoe. So that's really good. I do have a tiny bit of glue that oozed out and dried right here, which I'm just going to snip off with some scissors. All right, and I realize I'm just being a little nitpicky here, but you can see the glue just a little bit right here, so I'm going to color that with a Sharpie. There we go, all better. So the outside looks really great, the stitching looks really good, and the inside is nice and smooth and nice and strong. For one more layer of strength, I'm going to put a little strip of this black Gorilla duct tape right inside of here to make sure it all lays flat and is nice and smooth. There we go. Now that was probably more for looks than anything else, because with the sewing and the glue, it felt really strong and secure. But now it's nice and smooth inside, and this duct tape really is strong. So I have 3 layers of this repair. I think we are good to go forever on this shoe now. But let's do that walking test. So there we have it. The shoe is repaired and it's functional and it's beautiful. And if you can repair stuff, you can save money because you don't have to replace it. So I love that. Now, a word of prevention that I wanted to share with you is I was just trying to pull the strap in the back up over my heel without undoing the buckle. And the leather did not want to stretch, and that's why I broke it in the first place. So if you take the extra time to undo the buckle, put your foot in, and then buckle it back up, then maybe your shoe won't even break in the first place, and you can save all of the extra time that it takes to repair it. But just in case your shoe does break, now you know how to repair it. We can do it.